Live. Um, it has come to my attention in the terminal here. There's so many people trying to act like me in the world for money. It gets old. It gets old. Um, I'm gonna state it like this and post it publicly. Okay? I'm the man in my house who paid fucking limitless fucking taxes. More than you can fucking goddamn imagine in taxes. From like 250 fucking million people. A standard clientele base of about 1.2 million. And other families never endingly have tried to rip off all my clientele lists, rip off all my email lists. I have all these things like League of Legends game clients. They literally lock them into my fucking PC and say, oh no, you're our client. And I'm like, I might be the client of a bank, but you're the client of my software. Okay? I troubleshot the fuck out of Windows so you even have a job at a desk. Okay? Secondarily, when dealing with federal banks, okay, or state banks or whatever the fuck, I'm for the state of Alaska and for jobs. I understand that conducting this shit will charge me a price tag. What I am not understanding from anyone or anything is I have to be able to conduct myself in the public without having foreign governments and lobbyists pretend they're me under member FDIC. Let me state this clearly for you one time. Okay? I will not be fucking repeating this. Okay? Okay. Okay. I'm not shy about who I am. I'm Trevor Adam Tangy at 3221 Beam Reach Court, Anchorage, Alaska 99516. This residence is not for sale. In fact, I might retire this as basically a historic file monument similar to the Pentagon. My actual phone number, okay, is Trevor A. Tangy, PhD. That's an IT services orchestrator. Okay, 907-222-4890. That is me at my local home number. Okay. That's literally, if you call that, you can pick me up. All of my mail is sent to that box. There is nobody handling my mail for me. All of my phone calls go through that phone. Nobody handles my phone for me. Okay. If you have an issue that you absolutely are losing your mind about, if you need my email, okay, let me write it down for you. It's the same one I've had for many years. I've had it since 2001. There is no other vendor upon it. Okay, there's no one in control of it but me. If you find someone else in control of a random file or trying to admin or supersede that shit, It's probably some bullshit. Okay. Okay. So this is my email. It is Frosticles, Frosticles 2002 at hotmail.com. Okay. Um, there is nobody else who's going to run that, admin that for me, or has access or legal rights to my password from my email. Um, I do my own shit. Okay. Sometimes, um, when called upon, if there is too large of an aspect of a job, okay, you can find me down here at Cars on Huffman. Give me a call, give me a ring. I do have a cell phone number. It is 907-290-9642. Any of the proceedings that you find here or any of the questions that you may have, legally binding results, case files, patents, orders, ordinance, descriptions. This is what I charge people for, is ridiculous amounts of information. I charge foreign governments analysis of their business, structural integrities of their business, what will actually supersede and work, and what will not work. I don't mind helping other businesses. I've done this pretty much my whole life. I help and teach pretty much tons of people. The weird part is that some people get the inkling that in an online world they can see me posting here and then try and act like there's a manager here virtually. There is no manager here besides me. Okay. I run my own business at home. When you buy box copies of Windows, that goes to pay pretty much the main IT desks. Okay? And there's not as many as you motherfucking think, right? Pretty much anybody in the major IT businesses, these people's email passwords within Microsoft and the Hotmail server, those are not like handouts for government. Those are private email servers. When attempting to spearfish them, Microsoft will maintain that you don't really gain any information from those. They call that Bitcoin mining. The reason being is if you're ever successful in an attempt and you run off with any type of platform, like I had a bunch of people try and convince me that I was a client of Counter-Strike, and I built the fucking thing for 20 years. You know what I mean? And then the funny part is I started buying some skins in the community, and I'm just buying little skins here, little skins there, right? And just building up a library that I thought I would just sit there and keep from other people who are also clients of Windows. And the weird part is they thought I was paying them like it's an incorporate job. I build unique physics. That's not a corporate job. Corporate doesn't have a say in what the fuck I'm building. Okay? There's no corporate that says you can or you cannot be on your own fucking job. Okay? I don't listen to a fucking boss. I am a motherfucking boss. Okay? Let's just be real specific and clear about that. Like, I own Valve software. If you want to get more fucking specific. Okay? So if you have any inkling or like issues with Valve software or Counter-Strike or its nature, you call me direct. Okay? And I'll be sure to just handle the fuck out of you. Okay. League of Legends and client-based software. This is the Riot client I just tried to uninstall. Okay. Once again, this is your boss telling you. Okay. That's why I stopped paying for a lot of your shit on there. I paid just enough to keep that motherfucker afloat so people can play on it. If you get mad at me for not paying into it more, I just buy the distribution of the game, and normally I'm a dev op in the back editing your game. This is what makes sure that kids are not developing secret fucking hacks in the back of your shit. Okay? Like, these people think they're like training me on how to hack. Okay? Like it was, I just looked at the file system for the Steam UI system. What is the UI system? Okay? That means you can act like I in the system. That means all they did was take me when I talk online and flip positions, and they're making my money. So I deleted it. Okay? They just try and flip the script. Okay? I don't give a fuck. That's why Valve software, I've got to go back over it and readdress that shit. Steam client, okay, all they do is say you're a client of Steam, right? Like cigarettes sold your video game off or something. And I look at them and I'm like, that's a pretty cheesy pitch for a fake corporate market. Okay. You know what I mean? It sounds to me like you tried to suck Ubuntu's dick and missed for Russia. You know what I mean? Okay. In the business world of software, we are not only not nice, we are fucking crazy in this business. This is America's national defense, okay? We don't play nicely here. Basically, that's all it was they were trying to steal a back-end client for people that are broke. They do support Russia, and the problem is when Ubuntu hands its stuff over, and they're supporting Russia, is what they say. When they're supporting Russia, Russians used to be supported by Microsoft every year. They'd come over and they'd buy a ton of laptops, and I didn't mind the Russians. I actually programmed a lot of shit because of Russians. And the shitty part is Ubuntu thought they could do it better, and I looked at the programming. When it was done after 20 years, they closed me off from this. They tried to close me out of my own job and my own company. Okay? Like acting like you purchased it for $30 or something. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like you buy a couple skins from their store and they think they fucking own you. So basically, I just bought out Valve software again. This is the management. Okay? And it's no longer offered on Ubuntu. The difference is those types of clientele lists for Counter-Strike 2, and the support factor of it is a taxation problem I'm having. The weird thing is when you sit there with a clientele list and all they're trying to do is make sure that she doesn't run over here so I don't support her, You know what I mean? So she sits over there, and then they try and rob me with some bullshit. And I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck their thought process was behind that. Okay, it's probably some storytelling nature, and the problem is they're using my clientele list against me to do so. Okay, like you moved over a support structure. I still run the support for Russia. I run the support for Germany. I run the support for Czech Republic. I run the fucking Alaskan one. I run the most of the United States in support structure format foundation. My support system is larger than your opinion. Okay? Don't pretend like it's a fucking corporate. Okay? Your opinion, I don't give a fuck what you tell me. I'm not going to listen to you like it's a corporate store in here. Okay? The difference is I support basically all these fucking global structures and all the people who build these global structures as entrepreneurs. Okay? When I have a task that's too large to handle for global shit, I'm not talking to a corporate. This is not a fucking corporate. This is a sole proprietorship. In a sole proprietorship, all I do is make mention on here. And what takes place? Other entrepreneurs go, I might know that kind of code. Maybe I can step in there and maybe submit it to you. And that's what I get all fucking day. I get entrepreneurs that go, what about this program? A bunch of entrepreneurs built this. And I look at one, here's one I'll just mention right off the top. I'm like Acid Pro 7.0, right? And I'm like, that shit's dope. Purchase. Okay? Then I have to look through other libraries. That's a bot program on my shit. Okay? Acid Pro 7.0. They're up to 11.0 right now, and I recommend them. They're good audio editing software. Okay? When it's a good product like that, then I look at what is called the fishtail market. That means I bought from a sole proprietor. Okay? I bought from the sole salesperson of the software. Everything else was not purchased. These are plugins all the way around it. Okay? So when you start purchasing in a roundabout, okay, I don't purchase the plugins for Acid. Normally I'll hack them just to see which ones are good and which ones are bad and which ones I should purchase, which ones I shouldn't purchase, who did the work, what is it, should I recommend it, okay? And on them, most of the time I don't aim for in corporate. If you think that, it's probably a problem for you. The way I do this, I will look at you as an entrepreneur in an individual market for every fucking single piece of a program. I don't just buy one big fucking program, okay, and then assume that it's 90 people behind it, okay? It might have been 90 people to put it together, but there's one salesperson, okay? It's like going to the store and buying an Apple, okay? You could buy an Apple computer, or you can buy motherfucking Apple, okay? Now here's the difference. If you buy an Apple computer, okay, and you buy a regular apple. If you buy an apple and you buy a drinking straw and you shove the drinking straw in an apple, that's two different entrepreneurs. If you buy an Apple computer and you buy, a software on a USB and you plug it in, that's two entrepreneurs. Actually three. That's a USB, that's a program on the USB, and that's a computer. Now here's the difference. This is physical space. The program is theoretical space. That's a math. You're purchasing a math to throw it on this physical device. The Apple computer doesn't care. It's a device. It's just a flat, dead device with no ideas on it. If you like their ideas, you purchase it. The problem is in computers, these people always try and say that they're in corporate. Okay? In corporate, what does that does? That causes in-house finance fighting, okay, of people that are too smart. And what people will do in corporates is they will set it up like, this is a meeting in the boardroom, right? Okay. And what we'll do is one of them will get really fucked up and try and just data farm, like they call it Bitcoin mining. Okay? And what they'll do is they'll just hustle and stab every motherfucker in the room for the data. I don't do that here. Okay? I don't hustle and stab people for their data and then not give them a tax return, which is basically a representation of, was your shit good? Was your shit garbage? What could you add? What would you add? Okay? That is my motherfucking job. Okay? So anything you hear here, okay, my standard for a review is 20 an hour. Okay? My standard for a reality job that I expect from a standard business currently is like 14 an hour. It's not that bad. If I'm doing specialized work from certain people, I get paid anywhere from $35 to $88 an hour. And if it's specialized in national defense and expert security through, we're talking some scary motherfuckers like special ops. Okay, if it's high-end fucking special ops work, that's upward of $560 to $2,200 an hour. Okay. And just to let you know, they don't do standard payment structures. Okay. Those motherfuckers are dead serious private sector. Okay. You won't find a female for a couple miles. Okay. Those are motherfuckers that deal with a place where it says there is no police protection past this point. Enter at your fucking own risk. It's gated, it's barbed wired, and there's motherfucking cameras and guns loaded. Okay? Just in case you want to know what kind of makes that kind of hourly rate. Yeah. Some of them live in motherfucking bunkers under the ground, okay? There are some fucked up people in the world. Those types of motherfuckers are not very common, though. But I've worked in all fields, all the way to the top of just the world's largest fucking wreck shop motherfuckers, all the way down to just standard, the ith and po folk in the world, you know what I'm talking about? But it's a wild world, and the difference is on the dark web, I have to figure out who's right and who's wrong. And in the real world, I'm actually kind of like, I don't really give a fuck for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, you can pretty much ask me about anything, and I'll tell you, like, the long and the skibby of it. When I do that, normally taxes are applied. Okay. Taxes are applied to my company. So what that means for you a lot of times is, if I'm giving you this information right now, it'll give you something to do. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, could be throughout the week. It just keeps people employed. And that's what I do here. I just create the future every day. Sometimes, unfortunately, the future right now is a little stressful. Things have been kind of broken back and forth, and it does get a little ugly. The gaming markets, I'm trying to keep them employed. I'm just letting you all know legally, do not ever consider me an incorporate. Okay? I would be what you call an entrepreneur. I would be like a sole proprietor reviewer, pretty much. Do I think what your work did would be applicable for corporate? Okay? That's normally the way I normally approach it. When you submit software in a box, like Acid Pro 7.0, you know what I mean? Like, okay, that shit gets the work done. Okay. To League of Legends, I don't want to get it fucked up. League of Legends, I notice what I'll start doing is in program basins, I'll start locking people in and start fucking with them and see if I can uninstall the client or reinstall the client. Okay. And I fuck with people. Okay. And I notice they lock me not to be able to uninstall it. Okay. All right. Just be goddamn sure this is the motherfucker who owns his desktop. If I have to do any technician work, I will uninstall or will reinstall or will modify any fucking files on your system on this fucking client. Okay? This is an entrepreneur. This is a sole proprietor. You should act it as such. If I'm handing you a fucking job, you can do some work. You can sit there. Okay? This thing will pay for itself because I know how to fucking sell some serious shit. But the difference is that does not buy out my clientele because my hourly rate can literally buy and sell most of your jobs pretty much instantly. Okay. I can always hire people at a phenomenal rate, phenomenal pay, and it churns the bucket. The difference is any of the notifications on your tax findings, your tax chargings, okay, your tax facilities, please send it to my address. Or you can pick up the phone, give me a call, or send it to my email. Do not ask me to verify my password with your company on my email. Just simply send your letter and I can respond via phone or email. Okay? Or text. I've had to state this provision because we've had too many people Bitcoin mining. And problem is I just have to eliminate them. I got to eliminate tons of them. Bitcoin mining is it's going down. Bitcoin mining, especially here, I'll be honest, here very shortly, I'm starting work now, and I have to work with a couple different companies at the same time. That is not in corporate. That's an entrepreneur working with multiple companies at the fucking same time. Okay? I'm working with like 3 or 4 or 5 companies at the same time. That's not a giant in corporate. That's just me organizing 4 or 5 corporates. Okay? The reason being, here's the icing on the cake. Okay? I know I sound like an asshole half of the time. And I know a lot of people get pissed at me. Okay? I get pissed when you run off with my data because Counter-Strike's catalog in Valve software, I don't have an option but to buy it back, and it's my software. I know the whole fucking engine top to bottom. Nobody else has the ownership or rights to Valve software. It's not an incorporate. Okay? It's the same way I run libraryresearch.com. It's basically, I host the platform. If you make a sale on there, okay, to me, that's a library I am building. Okay, what does that do? That prints an idea of this is what a corporate map should look like on my operating system. Okay? It's an example of how you would run a game in a corporate, not how I'm pretending to run a corporate. Okay? This is a library host. I build data, format, structure. Basically, I can show multi-billion-dollar corporations and international global corporations how to assign and structure your buildings. I can tell you where to place people and organize full-blown governments. I can organize military structures. I can organize an entire globe sitting here. Okay? I can literally tell you how to run a globe, and it's not fucking easy. Okay? There are some crazy motherfuckers in the world. But the difference is they come to me and they say, well, how do I run this shit? You know what I mean? Where do I start? I've even had photographers walk up to me on the street and go, you know, what do I do with the camera? And I tell them, hey, here's a fucking job, right? I charge you for the lesson, okay? I always charge you for the lesson instantly. You won't even see me pass cash back and forth. Okay, because I know my company is large enough to where it'll just hit your ass for the money later on. That's it. They just go to work, motherfucker. That's all it does. Okay. You'll find people fly out the fucking woodwork and go, hey, we'd like to hire you over here for that. Whatever. Just creates a job, creates a job, creates a job, creates a job. That's what I do. I'm a job creator. I get paid in an annual check, federal government stat, for doing so. I also get paid to just walk around and work with other businesses. We had a smartphone crash when 6G started going down and 5G starts going down. We're probably going to minimize that stat, and we're going to recess down. This is the hard part. I have to recess down. We're going to reopen Counter-Strike. It will be the same base engine. It's not going to be an incorporate anymore. Okay. The incorporate portion will probably be gone. League of Legends. Normally I leave League of Legends alone because it is kind of its little own incorporate a little bit, but here I use it for an art department mapper. So I use it for art department hiring, staff, and availability of just major people, pretty much major people, good people in the community. What fits here, what doesn't, kind of deal. Counter-Strike is my main. You'll see me on Global Offensive. I know you've all seen me on Global Offensive. You know this shit. That's where they try to hit me with $160,000 to try and buy it out. I refused it. All right. No, the $160,000 doesn't even cover its base engine. None of its base engines or programmers charged in doing so for support. When the art community started incorporating it to a base clientele list, it moved its platform into basically a one-shot wonder roundabout of corporate death. I thought that was basically like fiction to the platform. It won't, if you don't have its lead designer or its lead engine host, which is me, I don't see it surviving at all. I don't see League of Legends surviving at all either. Reason being, it's not that I'm an asshole. I had come back here and in vision and hopes of taking 32-bit of, I was going to take League of Legends and I was going to take Counter-Strike and I was going to take filming hosts, cameras, and a big fucking amount of people. And I looked at projected future structures of business. And now the future structures of business, there's going to be 3 things that you've never even heard in American history before. Okay. I know these architectures. I have not revealed them yet. But I looked at all the math, all the programs, and all the people. And the problem is, mathematically and structurally, it's like, imagine walking around in your hand with 30,000 CDs in your hand. That's 700 megabytes a piece for a single disc. And people are just walking around with this shit in their hands, right? Okay. How valuable is information? Let's say you're the one guy who makes bank vaults for the United States. You know what I mean? Like walk-in, secure, what do they call it? Safety deposit box bank vaults. Okay. Those are major motherfuckers on how to build that shit, how to lock it, key combinations, stuff like that. So imagine if you have that information on a smartphone, and I noticed the problem. I go, our security's been disappearing in the banks because of a smartphone. A smartphone does this without your knowledge, and this is where it's getting fucked. It can wirelessly charge right here via someone else's satellite control. They can charge my phone wirelessly without my knowledge and then passively record because I can't disconnect the battery. So it's a loop. It's a little dog leash recording loop where they thought they'd be really smart and sell you a smartphone. Unfortunately, I'm the guy who's been ripping these fucking things apart for years. And the United States came out with a legal mandate that says you can't have a wireless charger and a non-removable battery on the same phone anymore. Due to, remember FDIC, that's the Fed bank telling them. Okay? Because if you walk in and you record information about how a bank vault is secured or how it's insecured, okay, they'll fuck you up because it may be rare and uncalled upon, but I mean, put it to you this way. What if you had the information to walk onto an aircraft carrier and fly off with an F-22 Raptor from a foreign nation? Okay. That type of shit is $24 million a plane. Those are the highest end fucking engineers in the goddamn country. And let's just face it, you know, for military strikes and Air Force, motherfucker. So you're telling me that because a dipshit built a phone for $3.50 and wants to Bitcoin mine how to build an F-22 Raptor and walk the fuck off an Air Force base with it, with all the full prior knowledge of that shit, they told the phone companies, put it to you this way, motherfucker, this is the United States telling you, fix your shit or they'll put a missile through it. That's why you buy an F-22 Raptor. Yeah. You see the difference? Like, oh, we're going to sneak in with smartphones, so good. And they're like, we have an F-22 Raptor with fucking missiles loaded. Okay? That means we will fuck your shit up. So Americans caught notice to that. I don't even use them right now because of that staging. I'm working with local drivers and then put Google under the wing to basically make sure that these smartphones and companies understand that someone was not fucking around. Companies that think the smartphone can just do that and they're not going to be punished for it, you can expect F-22 Raptors and serious fucking military kick in the door and fucking break all your shit. Okay, that's not something that's going to be tolerated in America. So you can look for the new phones. New phones we're working on right now. It's a 1G network private phone. That means it's me to cell tower to connect. That's it. No third person in between. It goes from you to tower to who you're connecting to, and it's an automated switch. You remember the old switchboard operators? You just transfer the phone call to boom. That's an automated system. Basically, it just goes through. Nobody's passively listening to it on the 1G network. On the 2G network, it's talk and text. Okay, send a text UDP, send a text back UDP. And then the optional switch, which goes into standard USB, all this random stuff. That's a fully transparent corporate dog leash. That's where you work for everybody and everybody works in kind of a circle jerk. Not for entrepreneurs. Small business is talk and text. Okay. 1G network is entrepreneur. And like, here's the basic example. 2G network. Okay, remember these old Nokias? It's talk and text. Those things are still live. These things actually function in the world. I know, isn't that fantastic? Nokia, doo-doo-doo. But anyway, so talk and text on a 2G network actually is not that bad. No one can actually tell your physical location on a 2G network. Okay, so it'll have a 2G, and then everything else, which is 3, 4, 5G, whatever. Okay, and that's all it is. For private sector America usage, and military strength coming back. Because we don't really want foreign nations walking into our national armories like it's, Tinker Toys and shit. A patent's only as good as you can defend it, and trust me, they'll shoot you for it. Okay? That's kind of like the joke with a patent. You know what I mean? A patent's only as good as you can defend it. You know what I mean? That's why the people who make guns and patents will shoot you for it. Do you understand what the Second Amendment is? So, next up on the list, okay? We've got those in development. I'm going down to work locally with a pizza place. Woo! I get to deliver pizzas. And the fun part is when delivering pizzas, I'm going to be troubleshooting the network and looking for some serious ITs in the entrepreneur business to come up with a program for Windows. Okay, so basically it's Windows 7. Okay, how do you fit Windows 7 onto a smartphone that you can remove the back? Okay, find any phone you can from older models or newer models. They'll probably be coming out with newer models here in less than 20 days because they've got to make it before Christmas. So the back can be removed. The battery can come out. Okay, this is all we're taxing here, buddy. So basically these old phones, you just pull them off and you can disconnect the battery. The SIM chip lies within. Sometimes multiple SIM chips, it doesn't really matter. That's how the conversion takes place. Okay, you can have a 2G network SIM and you can have a multiple network SIM, and all they do is slide a switch across and it switches your SIMs up. So when you go to a cell phone company, they will have a regular SIM. With one of these phones, they'll have a regular SIM for old network and a modern SIM. They'll both be attached to your account. Okay, I'll make it easy on them. They'll both be attached to your account, and then the difference is when you slide the switch, okay, smartphone. When you slide it down, private sector. Okay, this protects our military where the Bitcoin mining depth is a little too deep from the dark web. And national security's findings, what that will do is that will protect private property in America, which has been kind of fucked in recent years. So those jobs for protecting private property go up, which means that the value of the stuff you make, okay, goes up because we know our nation can protect it a little better, because that way you know if you turn it off, then people are always like, they're always worried if someone's going to come on their yard and steal their private property. You know what I mean? If you're talking on it passively, then people try and steal all your shit. Whenever they steal my shit, the funny part about me is I'll just buy it back to them for almost double. Buy it back from them for almost double. If it's important. If it's not important, who gives a fuck? Sometimes if it's an important network feature, I'll normally buy out the thief if I have to. The weird part about that is, if it's a Bitcoin miner or research, I always say that. But the problem is if I have the data and I have the proof that I created the data, okay, how I actually buy that back is I'll just take it down to a courtroom and be like, remove them. This is the hard copy. Okay. A lot of that shit was based in original purchases of programs where they still want to get the informations and the keys. Some of them I can't even stress to you how fucking crazy they are. Original, like, you don't even understand how old some of this shit is. The repository here, a lot of girls just want to come in here and sit and try and get some information and make some money. I understand that. Most of the time, all I have here is girlfriends. I don't do the married shit. I don't do the married shit. I file single, pretty much. I always file single or married separate. Um, and that's about the fuck it, man. And no withholding. But yeah, for the public entity, if they ever want, I mean, the amount of taxes I pay and build, it's kind of ridiculous, man. It's fucking ridiculous. I build something new in here or do something new almost every day. Most of the time, modern day, I do it on paper. Um, I actually code on paper. I show you something. So I calculated ping and attenuation values based on the structures of global networks, and I'm actually just doing the math on it. I'm gonna check the math there. So attenuation schemes for most of the programs I write, it's 20,480,000 megabytes. I don't know if you can read that there. So 20,480,000 megabytes per half global switch. Okay. That's based on attenuation global restraint values and then the formula for it. Okay. So when I'm actually accessing and writing these programs by hand, sometimes I just write them in my head and then I sit here and what I'll do is I'll send out basically some covert people, and some covert people will work for me if I pay them in person in cash. Okay. If I did not pay you in person in cash, do not claim that. Okay. If you do not see a transaction from me to you online, don't claim that. Okay. A lot of the stuff here is written non-profit. And the reason I do that is because the scale of it is so fucking large and people hate my fucking guts for it, but whatever. But the project I have coming up is a little larger than most people. And the time frame was here. Okay, we're going to be going from this date. This is, and we're going to be going with this many fucking people. So that's how many motherfucking people it's going to take to engineer a product that the entire state here, when I'm finished with it here shortly, will be able to conduct a new style of business never seen before on the earth. And it'll probably provide not only you, but future generations a pretty nice job and a pretty good future for families. The weird part is, this is how it works in software. It's kind of annoying. 20-year buildup, we get to this high definition point, and then I noticed that government gets kind of pissed and they knock me down about 10 years for that. Okay, so it was 35 years up, 10 years down. I have the next project, which is going a lot crazier than that. But the problem is when I go into these larger number programs and the algorithm basics for it, so you're dealing with 30,000 CDs in each person's hand of data walking around. And the problem is the securities for it will not be incorporated. They will be written by entrepreneur. You can't afford someone walking around with 30,000 CDs worth of information. And the problem is to stabilize that stack, you're going to see some brand new math that you've probably never seen before. But the compressions I've already written for it, and those compressions are fucking mind-boggling. Okay. The compressions for the amount of file structure like that, it would be like taking a stack of 30,000 CDs in your hand and then putting them on something like this. And the difference is these mobile structures will be writ down. And problem is they tried to take out both of my gaming engines to do back and forth analysis structure. So I had to just buy them out back. If you're with the project, join in. And if you're not with the project, I'll find a new engine or build one. Trevor Tangy Productions. See you mañana.